Let's talk about horror.
Okay.
Something that's close to all of our hearts. My favourite horror movie of the year was a little scene film, got a limited release, Housebound, a New Zealand horror film that very much combines comedy with horror and quite a lot of heart, actually. It's actually quite a sweet film when you get into the sort of the final third.
Yeah.
But it's violent and it's scary the first time you watch it when you don't really know what's going on. And it's on Netflix. I don't want to say too much about it. I just think people should go and check it out.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give the setup. It's about a girl she's a 20-something and she's a bit of a chav, really. She's a problem woman. She's got drink problem, drugs problem. She's thieving and she gets arrested at the very beginning of the film, gets put under house arrest. Doesn't get along with her mother. So there's some tension there, and then there's something, it feels like there's something in the basement or the house is haunted. And she starts investigating, and then quite a lot happens. Like it throws you off the scent a couple of times.
Yeah.
It's quite twisty-turny. I thought it was really smartly plotted. It did scare me in the first half, and then I just think it gets really interesting and funny and quite violent as well. There's a couple, you just saw it, didn't you, Gav?
I saw it on the weekend, yeah.
There's a couple, like quite shocking couple of bits at the end of bloody violence.
Yeah, there's one particular scene is one of the creepiest things I've seen this year, and like I probably had a little bit of a nightmare about it. It's just like, it really gave me chills. But it's good because it kind of like, it uses really good like haunted house tropes, but at the same time, like, because anyone who's going home for Christmas, like I definitely do it, but like you sort of regress a tiny little bit and you go back. Like every time I go home to my house, I'm not 30-year-old me, I'm like 18-year-old me when I'm hanging out with my sister and my mum and stuff. And it kind of plays upon that because this girl is an idiot, but then she's acting really, really young as well. And like her mum is brilliant, like really, really funny.
Really
she has
good.
some really good funny scenes. But it kind of like plays upon that as well, like you having to go back to your house because she's literally stuck in her house. But there's a couple of really, really funny characters. Like I know like What We Do in the Shadows was one of my favourite films last year, and like Flight of the Conchords. It's that type of humour, which is like, it's really silly, but it's really sort of like, I don't know, not homegrown, but it's really sort of like, it's really, really good.
It's quite broad, but it's quite sweet at the same time. Have you seen that one?
No, I've not seen that.
So yeah, we won't say any more about that one though, because
Yeah.
there's quite a few like little mysteries to uncover. So
Yeah.
check that out.
Yeah.
But what have you liked this year, horror-wise, Dan?
so I'm going to actually like tick off another one on my list,
Yeah.
seeing as we're talking about horror, and that is Spring.
Oh, I haven't seen this yet.
So I think it played at a few festivals in 2014, but it came out in the UK in 2015. Again, I'm not going to go into too much details because, you know, don't want to spoil it, but I've seen a few things about it. It's about a guy who, I think his mother dies, and he leaves America and he goes to Europe and he ends up in Italy. And he's working on a farm, and in this small Italian village, he meets this stunningly beautiful, sexy woman played by Nadia Hilker, who's called Louise. And she's kind of like, she has this dark secret. And without revealing it, but you know, it's slightly Lovecraftian and it's slightly body horror, and it is very striking the way it's shot because it looks beautiful. It looks like almost like a Terrence Malick movie. But when it gets to the horror stuff later on, some amazing practical special effects that look unlike anything I've seen for a long time. Like, there's one scene in particular, and it made me recoil in revulsion, and yet I also rewound it immediatally and paused it because I was watching it on Blu-ray to just check out what the hell was going on, and it really freaked me out. But yes, it's a really striking and original horror movie, I think.
Yeah, it's that was on my list as well. Aaron Moorhead and Justin Benson, the two guys who wrote and directed it, who I think are real talents, and it's a very slow film, but it really rewards if you stick with it. I think that it's really magical, actually. I think
some beautiful cinematography. The way they shoot this little Italian village is really stunning, which also makes, when like some of the kind of more horror elements begin to seep in, gives them a new look because they don't really rely on old conventions that much. It kind of looks more interesting. And also the way they go down these like little Italian streets, kind of like shades of obviously Don't Look Now, with like something terrifying hiding at the end of the street waiting for you.
Yeah.
I really like that film.
Yeah, tonally it's a really unusual film, but I think I've watched it 3 times now. I just think it's absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Really original. No, you're right.
Yeah,
what other horror then did we like?
It Follows, I loved. I thought that was really, really good.
It didn't make it on any of our top 5s, but we're all fans of that one, I think.
Yeah, we all had it in about our top 10s.
Yeah, definitely. As well. I felt like it was something really new. I just really enjoyed that world. There was so much strange stuff going on, not just the people being followed, but like there was such like really odd bits that kind of just made me feel uneasy. Like we talked about it, like we don't know when they were set. We're trying to figure out like
really
what time
odd
it
use
was.
of technology. Like a lot of it seems period, and yet they got strangely very futuristic technology in some scenes for the time it appears to be.
Exactly, yeah. And like that kind of stuff really sort of puts you at ease all the way through. But I like that it was, a strange concept that it's kind of like a sexual transmitted disease that, someone's going to follow you and kill you and then the chain keeps going and going and going. But then because of that, and because the thing that's following people can look like anything, there was a lot of times where he was just normal, so you're afraid of everything, and then the thing that was following you would just look crazy, and it'd just be like this really strange like giant in the house, and it kind of could do really, really good things with that, and being like, oh, now we're just gonna have like this monster looking thing. And I really like that idea.
I really enjoyed the music and the kind of direction.
Yeah.
Obviously, the adept to John Carpenter's work, and I really like the synth soundtrack. Again, putting you on edge. But there's one brilliant shot in the movie where the camera keeps turning full 360 degrees, and you're looking in the background of the shot, and you can see something getting closer and closer, and it really milks it.
Yeah,
like, Halloween's one of my favorite horror movies, and it does a lot, and it achieves a lot by just having someone there looking, inhumanly patient.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what that is. It's like no matter what you do, Michael Myers will get you. And the same with this, really. It's like you can put distance between it, but it's inevitable. The horror is inevitable. And it does a really good job playing with that suspense.
Yeah, do the rules that the film sets up work? Because I've heard it criticised quite a few places that it kind of loses its way in terms of this is how it works, but then by the time we get to the film, it seems to be a bit of it's not very consistent.
I know what you mean. For something that's like so reliant on it being specific rules, like the way that they decide to try and kill it doesn't make any sense at all. And like the actual intro doesn't, like I only read this the other day, like I loved it, but I read something about the intro the other day, like the first time you see it, and that doesn't make any sense either actually when you watch it again. But I need to see it for a second time.
Yeah, agreed.
But I really liked it.
How did they try to kill it? Just throw a load of electrical things in a swimming pool?
Essentially, yes.
All right.
Any more on the horror front?
Well, we really like The Gift.
The Gift, I think this is a good place to talk about it. I had it on my long list of films of the year.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah. So it's a Blumhouse production.
Yeah.
It's not quite horror, but it's definitely thriller, and there's a lot of intimidation, so it feels like a very threatening movie.
Yeah.
But it goes some really interesting places, more than I think the poster or the trailer or who's in it would make you initially what you initially think. There's multiple levels to it, and the fact that Joel Edgerton wrote, directed, and starred in that, I want to see what else he's got.
Yeah, It's really nasty in bits, and it changes who you're rooting for all the way through it, right until the very end, because it's got like one of the most horrible sort of climaxes, I think, just because of what it suggests. But at the same time, you're never quite sure if the person, if anyone is evil really, or like really, really bad. Man, it's really, really good. It stays with you for quite a while afterwards as well. But I really like that. I know you really liked it, was The Visit.
Very good.
Yeah,
The Visit. Again, it was a bit of a surprise because there's been some pretty poor M. Night Shyamalan movies the last few years.
Yeah.
I'm always been a big fan of his, but I'd kind of given up hope. And then the trailers were creepy, but you couldn't really get a sense of what it was. And they did a good job of keeping a mystery around it. And I've found it really entertaining and really frightening and really, really good fun. I just thought it was it felt like a really good episode of Tales from the Crypt or something, or Twilight Zone or something like that. And that's kind of what I want from a Shyamalan film. I think Dan and I were agreed that we didn't really like the little boy in it, or that character that he was playing.
Why is he rapping?
But then in the cinema I was in, there were loads of people really laughing at him. So I don't know if
Then don't have him doing a massive one on the end credits. The weirdest thing about it is like when he tries to swear and to kind of sublimate his swearing tendencies. He says a female pop star.
Yeah. But
you would not know
Shania Twain.
Kill me now.
Oh god.
You wouldn't know who that is.
Kill me now.
If his main musical influences are rap, why is he saying Shania Twain?
But the teenage girl was very good in it, and obviously the people playing the grandparents are very good.
Wicked director. Her lighting, her 3-point lighting on the interviews are amazing.
Yeah, the grandmother's really terrifying in that.
So yeah, good horror films all around.
Yeah.